Next up, I'm going to invite Scott Steiger to come up. Scott is a VP of HR at Michelman, and he's going to talk to us today about talent management and succession planning.
Thank you. Did a good job of the clicker passover this time. That was good. Struggled the first couple of folks, but you got your talent down. I appreciate that. I work at Michelman. I'm the VP of HR. I've been there about 5 years now. Everybody says, what the heck is Michelman? Nobody knows, and that's okay. We're a small specialty chemical manufacturing company right up in Blue Ash. We have a facility in Blue Ash. We have one also right down the road in Sharonville. And we also have a facility in Obange, Luxembourg, and Singapore. We also have a couple of labs over in China. So it provides us a worldwide global footprint. We're in a lot of products. If anybody buys Valspar paint, you'll see our products are inside that glossy print that we might have something to do with that glossy print. So that's what we're all about. I think what's interesting on our presentation, different than Scorched Earth, this is a presentation that I actually initiated in 2009. If everybody thinks back to what was going on in 2009, basically all businesses were, uncertain of what the future was. We sat with our CEO and we said we got to change the format of how we're thinking about the business, because we were looking at cutting 401ks, we were looking at laying people off, and we said, how long is this going to last? And we weren't certain. So what I want to talk about today is how we thought about our people environment, what our human resource model is at Michelman, what our people planning process is. I'm just going to run through that real quickly, and then what our action plans, and I'm just going to throw up some ideas on how we measure how our people plan is in the organization into a quick summary. Basically, what we did, a little bit different than Scorched Earth, and at the time it was a risk. I mean, we were flipping a coin on saying we can go one way and cut costs, or we can go another way and say, this is hopefully going to be over soon. We went the path of saying hopefully this is going to be over soon, and we said the marketplace, because of what a lot of employers are doing, is going to be changing. So we have to think about this really hard and really strategically at where we're going to go over the next 5 years. We looked at our employees and said, we have a high degree of tenure here. We have a lot of tenure. Our average tenure is about 14 years at our organization, so it's pretty high. And we have to take a look at that and say, what's going to happen when the economy turns around and potentially people are going to be leaving for better opportunities? How do we keep our employees engaged? How do we keep our employees employed? So we said we're going to take our unique business environment that we have and try to build upon that. So with that, what I wanted to do is just make sure that everybody is clear. When we talk, and it's really hard to see from the back, I apologize about that, but we've got the strategy of the business and our financial plans with our values underneath, driven by a whole bunch of processes that are delivered throughout. And basically, our talent and succession planning is really what drives the circular direction of all of these supporting elements that support our business. So talent management is a key portion of our success from an HR agenda and from a business perspective. So our process, what do? Basically, we receive feedback from every associate in the organization. We send out a survey and we ask them, and it's paper-driven, and we say, are you happy in your job and want to learn more? Are you happy in your job but you think you want to learn something else, and what might that be? Or are you happy in your job and you want to do something else? And that can be within the organization or out of the organization. And surprisingly enough, we have people come forward and say, I want to bag out. And we work with them and help them leave the organization gracefully. Not many people take advantage of that, but I'd rather have them tell us up front so we can manage their departure effectively than all of a sudden drop 2 weeks' notice and they're gone. So that's part one. Part two is we get with all of our business units and all of our functional counterparts and we say, hey, what's going on? Take a look at your business for the next 3 years. What does that look like? We roll this up on an entire global organization. We align on key strategic positions. So we say, what are those positions that are absolutely critical to drive our business? And we decide, do we have them in our organization or do we not have them in our organization? Which gets us talking about what kind of succession plans do we have? What kind of organization development plans do we have? What kind of knowledge loss opportunities exist or lack of opportunities exist. And then we have scripted follow-throughs for everybody as it relates to the first point that I brought up, and I'll talk about that in a second. So basically what we do is we have address ongoing business challenges, we talk about key strategic positions, we look at key organization conclusions every single year, and then what are the key objectives going forwards. And these are an example of just some of the things that we addressed in 2009 as things that we needed to focus on. And if you look at it, these are pretty significant things as it relates to how we have our human resources deployed around the world. So the three things that I want to take you through right now are succession, development, and the management of the process. The first thing, succession. What we took a look at is strategic, key, targeted positions, and have a plan for succession both internally and externally. So we had to say, we're going to have about 9 to 15 positions that are going to bring home the bacon over the next couple of years. Who do we have internally that can go into those jobs, or do we have to hire from the external or outside the organization to fill those jobs? And then we have to have a short and long-term assessment to have the changes in the business with the people. Again, the interesting thing about people is nothing's static about people. Things are always changing. So you have to be able to figure out an ebb and flow with the business changes and the people changes. And then we had to spend a lot of time on this whole notion of intellectual transfer. So we have a great chemist. He's a senior, actually he's a senior chemist. I would love to promote him to a sales position. I can't though, because he's got everything up in his head for the last 26 years. I can't move him until I transfer what's in his head to somebody else. Development. We need to focus our attention. We're not going to sheep dip and do training for everybody. We're going to focus on and invest in key individuals in the organization. So we're honest with folks and we say we're only going to invest in certain people. Hey, it's nice, we'd love to train everybody, but we're only going to invest in the key individuals for that year that we need to focus based on our business objectives. We'll have rigorous follow-up on execution. I sit down, if we do a formal training plan, I'll sit down every 30, 60, and 90 days after the training program and say, okay, how are you applying? My first one was everybody wanted time management. So we put everybody through time management, spent a lot of money, had everybody come in. 30 days out, how's time management going? Anybody using your day timers? Not one person. 60 days out, anybody using it? Nope, not anybody. 90 days out, anybody? Nobody use it. Waste of time. We don't do it anymore as an example. So that's a perfect example. Same thing with we've sent people away for training. They actually come back and they have to train that program that they just went to. So it really puts skin in, basically puts teeth in the training programs that we do. We want to make sure that we're just not doing that once event. Okay, everybody's gone away to time management, so it's done. Everybody's good. Okay, move on. We don't do that. And we'll ensure that we have a balance of development within the organization. And again, as I just spoke about, we try to focus very little of our attention down on the bottom half here. The training programs that we send people away to, we focus the majority of ours on experience. 50 to 70% of our focus is experience-based training, and then we do a little bit with exposure. Management of the process, again, just some of the key themes. Follow-up is essential. We talked a little bit before about communicate, communicate, communicate. You can never communicate enough. You have to have realistic conversations with folks, though. It's disingenuous if somebody says, hey, I want to be promoted to CEO, but nobody gets back with them and say, you know, you're probably not going to be CEO, but we do have a role for you in the organization. We feel great about you. We upgrade with every external hire or internal promotion from within the organization, and we aggressively transfer knowledge. We set leadership expectations within the organization. Key question, who have you developed lately? That's the one question that I ask at the end of the year of every single key leader in our organization. Who have you developed lately? And then we want to invest. And that ties to our retention, hopefully, for the long term. A couple of key measures just for fun. We actually do measure these various things with regards to succession, reduction in intellectual capital, investment in key talent, linkage, and promote from within. We actually measure all those things. And basically, this all starts with a committed, highly committed workforce. You need to leverage every opportunity. And people must be rooted in the fundamentals of ensuring succession improving knowledge transfer, reducing the risk, and developing your people. And I'm getting the wheels up, so I'll pass the clicker. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.